Hey everybody, and welcome back to Horror Film Lovers Mainstream Monday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward, my trusty friend here, who's been doing this for so
Uh,
long. And he still wants to keep doing it. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Just it just
I like
is.
torturing myself. So,
Yeah, some of these are torture. Some of these are not that torturous.
but at least these are big budget stuff compared to some of the things that we watch that is just made for a
Not.
dollar and is just awful. So,
No, I mean, this is Mainstream Monday, so we do movies that are big and famous and horror films, you know. But we're gonna be talking about Cult of Chucky, but before we do that, I wanted to show off something. I'm not sure if I've shown this off before or not, but we'll find out if he recognizes it or not. Look at my pillow. Oh, I have this on my bed all the time. Now,
oh, that's cool.
now if you look at it, this, can you see pretty much? Like pretty good. Doesn't it look like the one over on this side, right over here? Little guy with the really messed up hair. Does that kind of look like him?
It's a little more like him than the other ones because he doesn't have all his stitching.
Yeah.
He just has like scars.
Get a couple scars, yeah.
So I wonder where'd you get the pillow?
Off of Timu.
Okay.
It was just it was like a cover, and then I had to buy my own pillow. So, all in all, it ended up costing me like, I don't know, $10, or whatever, which is a pretty good
No,
deal
it's a cool
for,
pillow. Well, I'll have to
yeah.
look into that. I have a Spider-Man pillow. So
Aw, that's cute.
yeah.
But yeah, so this baby always sleeps on my bed, or sometimes I get knocked off my bed because I have too many pillows. Um, I like to sleep with a lot of pillows on my bed. Don't ask me why.
Oh, I have pillows just for decoration and that's about it. So and then I
No,
just I have to take them all off. So that's or I leave them on for the cats to kind of sleep on or sleep around. So well, I
for
have
sure.
something to show too, and I don't
Nice.
know if I've shown these. I found these in a storage unit, and I said this the she abandoned it at work, and we're cleaning out and throwing everything away, and I'm like, I have to marry this woman
Hmm.
because she had Chucky socks.
Oh yeah, I think you showed me those before, but I don't think you've shown the show. Okay, that's cool. You're not gonna wear
Yeah.
them, are you?
Nope. I washed them and then they're just on display with my Chucky stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, I don't know if she's worn them or not, but they look really good. So yeah,
Nice.
so Chucky's socks.
Chucky socks. Can't go wrong with some Chucky socks.
No, I gotta gonna get these so they sit right on
Um,
the shelf. There we go.
all right. So I guess we're gonna get into it. Where Cult of Chucky, which I do have the Blu-ray. I did not watch the Blu-ray. I watched Peacock, which I didn't even think about it being like unrated versus rated. And I think I watched the rated version, rated R version. I'm sure you watched the unrated version. So there
Yes.
may be things that in there that like I guess extend or something, a little bit more bloody, things like that. I don't think it added much more to it. As far as
Um,
like,
well, I think there's this is how I watched it. So I bought it brand new when it came out and it has like one of those kind of 3D type
yeah.
of covers on
Oh,
it. Glad you're wearing pants.
hold on one sec. I should have took it out, man. It's a
Well, yeah,
bummer.
you should always do that. That's so this it's got the Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy, unrated, also includes rated. So I
I mean, that's
don't
the one
just
I have too, so I'd just be showing that off, but kind of bummer.
uh normally they list the time for each one, and this is what it looks like without it, but I'm seeing
Mine was an hour and a half, exactly.
Uh, yeah, it's weird. Oh no, here it is. Rated is 1 hour and 31 minutes. Oh, the unrated version is shorter by a minute. Unrated is 1 hour and 30 minutes.
That's
That's
what I
weird.
saw. I saw an hour and 30 minutes. So maybe I saw the unrated. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I did not see the. We both did not see the extra thing or whatever the
I think I just turned it off too soon.
I
I
think
saw it was the end credits and I went, oh, okay, and I clicked it off. But I do remember the Easter egg at the beginning, the end credit scene. So yeah.
yeah.
Because
Um
Seed and Colt are definitely build-ups for the TV series. So
Awesome.
did
'Well,
did you like oh go on.
do you think they thought that like do you think he thought, okay, I'm gonna do a TV series next? Or was it I'm gonna do a film next, but then now I have to do a TV series?
I think that he was probably working on the series, you know,
Mm.
maybe developing it and all that stuff because I think the ending of this, and do you know what I mean? You know, before you see the TV series, which you haven't, that you're kind of like, what?
I'm
The ending is kind of like, this is it? So, you know, spoilers for everybody, but it's like, so now we're all humans? Like everybody's a person, we're not going to have a doll anymore? And so that kind of annoyed because
well,
we saw
well, kind of not. Because remember, you saw at the end, you saw. I mean, we're going. I guess we're going already to the end, but you see, Tiffany and as Jennifer, right? And then you see Tiffany the doll going ha 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 ha, laughing along with everything. So
But that
there
wouldn't be
was
Tiffany. I think that's
right.
April. I think that's the niece.
Is it?
I think because Tiffany wouldn't be in the Tiffany doll if she's in Jennifer
No,
Tilly's
no,
body.
that's not true. Because if they can possess the humans and possess the dolls, that's the idea, doing that whole Dimbala whatever spell that he saw in like voodoo for dummies.com or something. But he saw like that spell that he can possess dolls and humans, meaning that the doll is possessed, I think, by Tiffany, and is also Tiffany is possessing Jennifer.
But no, if you remember when Chucky goes into Nina, uh,
Nico.
Nika, the Chucky doll's just on the floor. It's lifeless. Because I went back and checked. I'm like, where's that Chucky doll? And it's right behind the body there on your
Well,
picture.
I
So that
think
was just an empty vessel. So I
no, I
don't
don't
think,
think so. I think that the doll, because at the end of it, they were, they had to pretend to be dead because I mean they served their purpose, right? Like their purpose was to come after them, and then I don't know, actually the ending was kind of a little bit like off-putting because there was a point where they were talking about, I guess they're going to take care of Andy, you know, and they didn't kill Andy or anything.
well,
So
yeah, they left him in the padded
yeah,
cell.
yeah, where he
So
killed the one doll, the one that I think looked
yeah, the
like my
one with the
thing.
short hair, he's the one who sent it to the prison with the gun in it.
Yeah.
So that one is dead. But then the one that's missing the arm is still alive, just sitting there on the bench around dead people. So he'll probably be put into um, at the evidence locker,
Hmm.
at the police station, which means nothing with Chucky because a cop will just go try to sell him for money and then die. And then the other one, there, and then there's the regular Chucky one, which is weird because he doesn't have the stitches.
Hmm.
And then there's the one that Andy has, which is just the head that he
Yeah.
tortures.
Keeps torturing.
So I don't think because in the series, I'm not kidding when I say there's like 1,000 Chuckies. At one point, there's a 1,000 Chuckies, but they all can't be the Chucky.
Brrr.
There has to be a Chucky to possess all the other Chuckies. So there has to
Right.
be a main Chucky.
Which
So
is
the main,
weird. I thought the main Chucky was the one that was the head.
because of the stitches, you would think so.
I don't know. Like, but you see, that's where it gets all confusing. And then I just really did not like what they did with Alice, like where we kind of didn't get to see her, at all. We saw like a glimpse of her in a dream sequence, but the rest of it was like, oh, we're gonna tell you about Alice. We're not gonna show any of that happened to her, because it was like something about Alice going, Alice isn't a good vessel for him because, he can't fight back as Alice or whatever.
Well, and also people only trust little kids and dolls so much.
Right.
That after a while, the little kid stops being a cute little kid. And then, but it's I don't know if she's brought up in the series or not. I'm not sure because what they tell I keep I keep blanking on her name. I don't know why
Nika.
I keep Nika, thank you. I don't know why I keep blanking on it.
I don't know. I
Um,
like that name. I think it was cool.
well, I do find it funny that, Chucky goes into Nika, and of course her dad does the voice. So the dad is kind of in his daughter,
Right.
which is a little weird. So she's just imitating her father.
Yeah. It's
So
kind of, and she makes out with Jennifer Tilly.
which is a little bit abound,
I guess,
so
but I didn't
yeah.
even really think about that. But like, because I mean, yes, she's had lesbian kiss scenes before, but um, I I love I just thought that was so funny because in the movie there's that what is it the security guy or whatever. I don't know what he is. Not security guy, but he's a orderly or whatever
Yeah,
that
like
works
one of the
there.
main orderlies, yeah, the black
Yeah,
guy.
the black guy, and he was talking about his husband is has MS or whatever like that and stuff like that, and he so they've already set up like, okay, there's gay stuff, but it's not like in your face, like, like whatever. It just seemed like a natural conversation to put in there.
If you're a gay filmmaker, then you're going to put gay stuff in your movie, and
Right.
and it could be men, it could be women. It like
It
in
could be both
Curse,
like
it
this.
was it was women, you
Women.
know, it was the nanny and the mom. But I think as you know, I've worked on films with gay directors, and a lot of the times they put gay stuff in their movies because they're gay. You,
Yeah.
you know that
It's
that's
what they
just
know. Right, what you
yeah.
know.
I mean, I've even had lesbians in some of my
I
films,
did too, but like
so
looking back,
unintentionally, but
well, mine was intentionally, but looking back at it, it was the wrong intention. It was because that's at that time period of like writing it in 2011 or 12 or whatever. That was like you put lesbians in there because that would attract, guys that would want to watch lesbians get naked or something, and kiss each other and stuff like that. Nowadays I wouldn't do that. I did have a makeout scene with Tina. I think I've talked about this before, but I had Tina Kraus and Kate Phoenix have a makeout scene. They were supposed to have, kind of get undressed and stuff, but we ended up not having time for it, and I still paid them for their what was supposed to be nudity, you know. I still gave them the quote I told them, about nudity, because that was my decision. It was like we're running out of time. I have to, but I had them on each other in their bras. That was as close, as you're gonna get, from it. But that's the thing. I don't really normally do that too because I'm, I don't know. It just somewhat makes me feel uncomfortable to do that. Some people it's not. It's what should make people uncomfortable doesn't.
I
But
mean, I guess it just matters. I had when I did my short Skull Evil, I had Julianne Prescott in it, and then Miranda Dudley, who did the effects, she had an assistant who goes, can I turn into a skeleton? And I said, yeah, sure. Why don't you be with Julie? Like you guys can be, girlfriends or something, and then you'll turn into a skeleton with her. And they're like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. So it was one of those things where I never wrote it as that, but it was just a couple in a car. And Miranda's assistant is very cute. So it's just like, okay, well, you
Yeah.
know, but
Uh,
might as well do it. I mean,
uh,
and I've done it in a few films, and Miranda said, you do have a thing for lesbians, right? And I'm like, actually, I don't. It just kind of is that way. It just pops up. So that's, I think if you're, and I've mentioned this in another video that we did, is if you're going to be watching a film series or a TV series that has a gay creator, you have to expect gay stuff.
mhm,
And it could be male, it could be female, it could be whatever, it could be trans, whatever it might be. And you have to be okay with that. You have to accept it.
mhm.
But I think with Curse, with the mom and the nanny, um, I thought that was a good twist. I didn't just take it as, oh, here's a lesbian thing. Um, and with here, I mean, I guess you would figure that maybe one guy that works at this kind of institution would be gay and
Yeah.
he has a boyfriend and he's sharing,
I mean,
you
it's
know,
just more common than you'd actually think. So, like that in that kind of situation. But but the thing with the kiss scene, I didn't mind that at all either. I didn't even think anything of it because she's, she's or Fiona is supposed to be her father is supposed to be Charles Lee Ray. So, she's playing that thing. That's why she kisses Tiffany and then or as Jennifer. I don't know, it's very confusing because they even confuse me. I hate this whole like thing of don't you look like Jennifer Tilly? I'm like, does every single person in this fucking universe know what Jennifer Tilly looks like? Like just who Tin Jennifer because before the Chucky franchise, I didn't know who Jennifer Tilly was. I didn't watch
oh,
Bound. I
really?
didn't know. I didn't. And so I was
Oh, I
not
definitely did.
I mean, I saw her in maybe Liar Liar, but I didn't like recognize her. Like there wasn't anything,
Yeah, she
you
was
know.
in a film with Richard Dreyfuss called Let It Ride, which is
Okay.
about horse racing. And her boobs were up, and there was a lot of cleavage, and they were kind of out. And I remember because that then, yeah, I think that was like the first thing I ever saw her in. And then it was like, wow, she has the most annoying voice I've ever heard, but she is really hot. And then it got around that, her that she had a sister and her sister kind of dropped out of film and Meg Tilly and then she did Bound and it's like dude that's that hot chick that was in Let It Ride. I'm not sure which one came first but I and then we all every straight guy and lesbian went to go see Bound. So I've known who she is for a very long time,
Yeah.
and I agree with I still and I mentioned this in the last one, well not the last one, but I think it was Seed, where she goes, I could have played Aaron Brockovich instead of Julia Roberts, and I wouldn't need the push-up bra, and she's absolutely correct. Um, and I think that she probably would have done a better job, but because I just don't really like Julia Roberts, but it's yeah, I mean, I think people would know who she is, and
Wonder if
you know,
I'm gonna look up Aaron Brockovich real quick. I'm gonna see if maybe like the trivia and see if maybe she auditioned for it. Um, because it doesn't say right now. I don't think she did, but because maybe they only picked her, Julia Roberts. But that would be hilarious if Jennifer Tilly had actually auditioned and didn't get the part because, it's Julia Roberts that they went after. Nope, doesn't say anything. So I'm guessing, yeah, I'm guessing she did not get that part or did not audition for the part. Um, but anyway, she could have played that. She would have done a wonderful job. I like her a lot, but she just didn't have. I don't know. She had more sex appeal than Julia Roberts really does, I think. I really don't. Am I one of the only people who just doesn't find Julia Roberts that attractive? Like, I think she's a great actress. I just never found her attractive, you know?
No, I think that she kind of has like a horse mouth. I mean, I think people maybe like her from Pretty Woman, but that's I don't know if she's ever been on a list,
Yeah,
but
like that. Yeah.
for a while she was the thing, and they tried to make many women like her, and it failed.
Well, I think she, I think she's a great actress. I've always liked her as an actress. I've always been like, okay, so she's a movie star, right? And they kind of make her always like, I don't know, like more, like the romantic comedy movie star and stuff for a while, and just never really, I don't know, just never got into her as much. But then again. I don't know. She's older, to me. She's older than me, so she's kind of not in like my crush kind of range. I don't really go for older women, like that. I go for people like 5 years younger, or an up, to my age, and stuff. That's maybe a couple of years older. Like I've always found Tiffany Shepard's pretty hot, and stuff, and she's
Oh yeah.
I think a couple years older than me. You know, don't tell her that. I'm sure she'll get mad.
When this is done, I'm going to immediately call her and let her
Yeah.
know. The but the Julie Roberts thing, remember they kind of like the You Look Like Jennifer Tilly, they kind of did that in the Oceans movies. Once she got involved, I think it's the third one, because her husband's name is Danny, and then of course George Clooney's playing Danny Ocean. So there was the confusion in the movie of what Danny she's referring to, and then there is somebody, I think I'm correct on this, that there is somebody who looks like Julia Roberts, who's played by Julia Roberts, but then there is Julia Roberts.
All right, you're gonna get mad at me. I've seen the first Ocean's 11 remake. I've never seen any of the other ones.
No, you don't really have to. I mean,
I Not
and you
really my cup
definitely
of tea.
don't need to see the all-female Ghostbusters version of
I heard about
Ocean's
that.
11, yeah, Ocean's 8. But so I guess that this is kind of a thing that they do. But the whole thing with Jennifer Tilly doesn't bother me at all, because it gives her a reason to kind of walk around
Uh-huh.
and do things as Tiffany. So, but I still question who's in the Tiffany doll.
Yeah,
I really don't think that can be Tiffany. I think it has to be somebody else. That
I
doesn't make
don't
it
know.
wouldn't make sense unless Jennifer Tilly is in the Tiffany doll.
Um, so yeah, I have no idea. I don't I'm gonna I figured that might be something that they bring up in the TV show or whatever, but I guess they don't.
There's a lot of stuff brought up in the TV show. The TV show is pretty wild.
Okay.
There's even a part in it, and I'm like, did Don Mancini do this on purpose? I think it's the first season. I think it is where somebody mentions pronouns, like one of the characters. And then somebody else goes, you understand that like they, them, they're not pronouns. You're making it up. Like that doesn't make sense. So I still don't understand if he was making fun of that or making fun of people who say that say they're not pronouns, which is correct. But there's stuff in there that's brought up, and it's kind of
Yeah.
weird. So I kind of question, like, as much of the trans and gay and lesbian and all that stuff that Don Mancini throws in these, how much of that is made fun of, or is he dead serious with it?
I I don't know, and I haven't watched the stuff, so I have no idea. I can't say anything yet on that. I did watch the pilot episode of it before. Like this was when it first was on like USA and stuff. I did record all of them, and then I watched the first one, and I got so confused on Thanks. I probably needed to watch all the other movies and stuff because I was so confused. Like, who's Devon Sawa? Like, why is he on this in this? Like, what's going on? I don't know. Who these like all this stuff is these people are, but I don't know. It.
Yeah,
I
it's
will be
I don't
more
think
excited to
it's a
watch it
show.
now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a show that you could just watch on its own. You need to do a little bit of homework.
Right.
So at least
It's kind of like a
starting
Marvel
with
show.
oh God, Marvel, you got to watch like 16 shows and 12 movies just to understand the new film or show coming out. These, I think that you could probably, fuck, no, you'd still have to go back. I was saying maybe Seed, or you could do Bride and then move forward, but definitely Curse, because that's where you're introduced to Nika and she's in the wheelchair. So that's important for this one when she gets out of the chair.
She's walking around.
Yeah. And I like what they did with like the Chuckies behind you because if you notice each one of them has a different look. So
Mm-hmm.
you know exactly what Chucky it is. And they've done that in other things too. Like there's only one shark in Jaws 2, but they gave it a whole burnt because the shark gets, burned on the boat. So it has a look to it, or it could be uh, I think there's the film Orca, the killer whale from like the
Yeah.
late 70s where they shoot a harpoon and it nicks out part of the fin. So then that's the whale that we need to keep watching because it has the nick in its fin. I like when they do that. They also kind of do it with people. Like you'll have a guy that just has like a scar down here and it's just to give him that look so oh, that's the bad guy.
Mm.
So I like how they did the Chucky stuff.
I did too. And to go back to where we're kind of discussing which Chucky should be like the main Chucky, I guess, or whatever. My idea was the guy that uh got sent to Andy and then got his head blown off or whatever. But I don't. More now. I'm actually thinking it's the one that was kind of leading everybody. He was the one that was there where both times where Nika was hypnotized by that perverted doctor guy. Well, I liked him. I was like, I've seen him at something or whatever. He looked familiar. I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
and for people who haven't seen this takes place not too long after the court scene in the last movie, is that she goes to like an actual prison.
I don't know
And
how
that,
long it is because Alice is much older in that flashback sequence or
I
whatever
mean,
dream sequence.
I
So
mean, I guess her going from the courtroom to the jail isn't much longer,
yeah,
but her
it's
being in the jail, they had to take time to observe her to where the doctor would say, "Hey, I'm going to send you to this minimum security
yeah.
place." So
She
she
was in
was
a maximum security prison, and now she's in a minimum security, basically a nut house, or whatever you want to was it mental behavior, health behavior place, or whatever, mental hospital. Um, and I love it because he sees that my favorite scene in the whole movie is him walking down the hall for the first time, and that old lady is like, "Can you can see me?" And he goes, "Yeah, I can see you." And then she's like, "Oh, oh, I'm so happy, I won't hurt you." And he starts laughing, he goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And then she's like, she says some stuff to him. He goes, "You know what? I'll be right back. I'll take care of you after this." And then he leaves and he goes, "Fucking cuckoo's nest." And and
Well, yeah,
those,
and he's the Chucky that called her
oh,
because she's in the group therapy and she goes, "Yeah, I talked to Chucky last night on the phone." And they're like, "What?" And then
yep.
Chucky says, "Oh yeah, you're the one who or she says to Chucky, "Oh, you're the one who I spoke to last night."
Yeah, I just thought of it. Guess who was also in Cuckoo's Nest? One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Brad
Dwarf.
Dorff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Chucky. So it's very funny that he said fucking cuckoos. I didn't catch that before. Now it just hit me. I was like, wait a minute, wasn't because I had when I met Brad Dourif, I had just seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for the first time. And so when I met him in person, I told him I loved him, absolutely loved him in that one. And he was like, thank you. That was really fun to make, or whatever, blah blah blah. Like I mean, whatever, he's not gonna give me some dirt about Jack Nicholson while he's signing my autograph, or taking a picture with me. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna have like a intense talk or anything, but it's always nice to bring up movies. I like to bring up movies that like not as many people probably bring up. They might bring up One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because that's kind of common for him. But like, I mean, I could have brought up almost any of his really, really low budget stuff, but I figured, why not bring
No,
that
it's
one up?
it's nice to get that odd thing. I remember I was really one out of two people who got Jack Nicholson's autograph at a Fangoria convention. He only signed two, and my
Wait,
and
was
what
he there just walking around or?
he was promoting Wolf.
Right.
So he would so and we were told he would not sign autographs. And he's walking up this red carpet because he got dropped off, I think, by a limo, and he's walking up, and everybody has The Shining, everybody has Batman, everybody has, but I had the Monkees album Head, which he produced, wrote. He has a little part in. He was a huge thing for the Monkees in that movie, which is all that stuff went to Easy Rider. But he took the album and he signed it because I think that it reflected because the front of the album is like tinfoil, is that you could see your head in it. And so I think I accidentally probably reflected it in his face and he looked and he saw it. And he's like, shit, man, that ain't Batman or Shining or Chinatown. That's Head. Who's giving me, who would bring a Monkeys thing here?
Who's giving
And
me
so
head?
who's giving Jack Nicholson Head? I am this guy. So yeah, I think that it's like George Lucas used to come into the video store I worked at, and I'm just like, fuck, I wish I had a Howard the Duck poster. I would have him sign my Howard the Duck poster. Screw
Who?
Star Wars. George Lucas?
Oh no, no, he wouldn't have signed it. He would have.
You never know. He might have a sense of humor. I think that'd
I,
be great.
I've heard I've heard he's not a fan, but it's funny because I watched that there's a short film called George Lucas in Love. It's like
Oh
Star
yeah.
Wars and Shakespeare in Love together or whatever, and with George Lucas. And at the end of the movie, like after the credits roll for a little bit, then it comes out and it goes, um, you know, hey George, check out my new duck. I named him Howard. And the guy, and all of a sudden George Lucas has a big smile on his face or whatever. And I was like, oh, what a nice knock. At least they didn't make fun of like the holiday special or something, or whatever, you know. But I mean, maybe he's changed his tune, on or whatever. Maybe he actually did really love it. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure after it bombed, he was just not happy, or whatever, You might be happy that you actually had something of it, that you actually cared, you know.
Hey, I got Howard the Duck on Blu-ray right here. If you're gonna own Howard the Duck, that's the
Blu-ray.
way to do it.
Well, I have it too on Blu-ray. I got it for like $5 or something, so I'm pretty
It might
happy
be
with
on
it.
4K, but I'm not sure. So
I
I
think
don't
it might be.
I think I would be a typical person if I met Brad Dourif. I think I would bring him my Chucky
Oh no, no,
Funko
no,
Pop.
no. Absolutely. 100% you do, Chucky. And that I mean that's what he expects, right? Like he expects you to do Chucky. I forgot what I had him sign because it wasn't for me. It was for my buddy Alfred. So at Texas Frightmare, Alfred messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you some money for like a couple autographs. This is who I want," because he saw the people that were at the thing, and he sent me. And so I went to him, and I went to like Adrian Barbeau, and I went to a couple other people that he wanted me to get autographs of. I didn't care for the autographs. Like I'm still like if I get the autograph, that's fine. Like I got one with Vanessa Angel, but like I'm not running for it, these days because I have enough of them already and I just don't. They're like after a while, it's like, yeah, okay, I have it, but I'd rather have a picture with the person. So some of those came with a picture if you bought the was it autograph, you got a selfie with
Mhm.
them. So I got one with Brad, and I was so happy. I was like, oh, I got a free picture. I got a free picture because it already came with it. So I was just, my friend bought it, so right? So I got that, and then I forgot what he got, but I got one with Adrian Barbeau and a couple other, there's one other person, I think, something like that. And I'm okay. But if it had been where it was picture and selfie was separate, I would have just got the picture, picture signed and then not gotten I don't think I would have, because already there's so many people at those conventions, and you're just going to be spending $1,000 if you get everybody you want, you know, and everything.
Oh yeah, that's why you got to be, you got to be selective. Like when I went to the convention with OGP and got Terrifier, so the autographs and the pictures were separate.
Hmm.
You had to pay for both. And then if you had a Funko Pop, um, it was even more. If it was a picture, it was less. So I only bought the autographs. So the Funko. So I got, Terrifier. I got the director and the main actress. But then for Derek Mears, when I had him sign the Swamp Thing, it was a free photo.
Right.
So he would just. But the I think the autograph was like $70.
You didn't get a picture with the girl from Terrifier? I thought you did.
No, I mean there's like the random fan stuff that they shoot.
Oh.
So then, you could do that. But if you wanted to get a picture with her, with like your arm around her or standing with her or with any of the guys, that stuff
Yeah,
is
selfie.
always
Yeah.
extra.
Oh,
So,
okay.
which I think is always kind of sucks. But because if you're already paying like 70, $80 for an autograph, I really don't, you know,
I mean,
why can't you just take a picture? There were,
well, like I
um,
said, like Vanessa Angel was she was I think it was like 40 for the picture or and 40 for the autograph, right? But if you got them together, it was like 60. you know? And so I originally was just going to get a picture with her, like a selfie with her, and that's all I wanted. And then she was like, "Come on, you want to do the blah blah blah." And I was like, and then she said, "Here, this is the one you should get." And it was like one of her in her bikini or whatever from what's that Dan Aykroyd movie, Spies Like Us, you know? And I was like, "All right, I'll take it." I can't pass that up. But anyway, what were we saying? Sorry, I
Well,
kind
I mean, doing deals, you don't get that anymore. God, we're way off
of
target.
I'm
But it's way back in the day when, in like my 20s, you could haggle and still it was, like Monique Gabrielle. I had her sign a Not of This Earth poster. And when I took it out, she goes, "Oh, it's a Jim movie," meaning Jim Wynorski, because I guess they had broken up by then. And I'm just like, well, I mean, I like the movie and everything. And I already had Tracy Lords and Jim Wynorski, all those on there. She goes, "I tell you what, I'll sign it if you buy one of my photos." And so she signed the photo for me, and she was in a bikini. And then she signed the poster because I bought it. So the poster that she signed really was for free. I was just paying for the photo for her to sign. And then Cliff and I went to a Fangoria, no, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. So it was only one and two were the only two movies that were out at that time. You paid $20 to get in there. There was Gunnar Hansen, there was Bill Moseley, there was everybody from the two movies was there. $20. And you didn't have to pay for the autograph. You paid to get in and they would sign if they wanted to,
that was
So
back
all
in
the
the day of like before I heard, and this could be wrong, this could be false information, so I'm sorry if I'm putting that out there, but I heard Linda Blair was the reason why people started charging because she was, she had been sitting and waiting and stuff. And then she was just like, why am I not getting paid for this? People should be paying.
Uh, I can confirm that because I have heard stories
Right.
from her doing audio commentaries and things that were kind of a problem. So that yeah, so that's yeah. I don't think
Everybody blame Linda Blair for all this stuff, you know. So I mean, whatever, you know, like I get it. Like I totally get it. If you're gonna sit and you're a celebrity, like I mean, I always feel bad for the celebrities that just don't get anybody there. You know, they don't have a huge ta a line at their table and everything. Because like they're taking the time out of their schedule where they could be looking for work, you know, right? They could be auditioning for something or doing something else, and they're taking their time out of their schedule to come and meet you, the fans. And if the fans aren't there or whatever, you know, kind of sucks, you know?
yeah, but it's also a turnoff if somebody I mean, now it's typical to charge.
Right,
So you have to, like for Terrifier, th there were more people there from Terrifier, but it's like, I'm not gonna, I can't afford it. I mean, I'm already paying 60, $70, $80 for three people each. So, I mean, I'm not, I mean, I get it if somebody for like Linda Blair brings in posters and pictures and DVDs and Blu-rays for her to sign, then it's like, what the hell? I'm signing like 10 of these things. Maybe I should get some money for this. But
right,
if it's one thing, like somebody brings in, I don't know, a Funko Pop of her, because there was the one of her throwing up. I don't know, just maybe sign it and not be that person,
right.
you know?
Well, and to go back to your Tracy Lords, you know, you said Tracy Lords earlier. I saw her at a horror convention, and she would not talk to you unless you were buying something. She had no interest in you. She was like stone cold, like she was waiting. She was very business, you know, like she didn't want to talk to you about whatever else. But if you were buying something, she would talk to you until the son came home. Um, and that was, you know, or whatever, right? You know, that's understandable.
With her, I don't know, because I would think that maybe you might get some people that are really rude, or
Mhm.
bring her like a an 8 by 10 of her spread eagle naked, something like that.
That would be illegal, I think, because it wasn't she
She
did
was
that.
underage. Yeah, she was. Oh man, there's a whole thing. Yeah, with that, but it's I think that some people, so maybe it's, if you're paying for something, I'll talk to you, but I think like John Waters had said that she was very guarded on Crybaby, that because it was one of her first mainstream movies.
Hmm.
So I think because of her past, people might still be rude, to her. So I could see maybe why she's a little more business. But if you're Linda Blair or somebody, I don't know, just you and I guess you just don't want to take time away from making some money. I mean, when
Right.
I went to the Terrifier thing, and they had Nick Castle there, and they had a whole bunch of people, and he would talk to you, but there was no line. So, like, I think it
Who's the
was,
who's the other who's the other Meg that was in like the movie we watched, the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe, Meg
oh, Foster?
Foster. She was at the same convention, like right next to um Tracy Lords. And uh my friend Andre, she like had a crush on. You know, Andre's like a basically like a supermodel looking dude, you know, and stuff. He actually did model, you know, and stuff. So he was just going around. He was excited. He was excited to meet Meg Foster because he knew her from one of her other shows or whatever that had nothing to do with horror films and stuff, right? Like Pretty Little Liars or something like that. And so he was talking to her about that and all this other stuff. And then came over, chatted with me, saw and actually was talking to Tracy Lords for a second. Tracy would talk to him, right? Because, you know, whatever. And he was talking, and Meg walks over, leans in his ear, and says, "If you buy something from her, not from me, I will kill you."
Uh,
You know, and he just laughed, and you know, yeah, He kind of laughed, but he was like, it was kind of, yeah, kind of like that. Anyway, that's way off topic. We're gonna get back to Cult of Chucky.
Well, so as I mentioned with the prison, she's done well enough. She now moves to this sanitarium or asylum, whatever it is, and minimum security. And that's when all the murders start happening. It's like
Hmm.
she's there. She is, I think, faking it that that she now says that Chucky didn't exist, and that she was the killer or something. And but I think she deep down still knows that Chucky did it. Nobody's gonna make her think otherwise. But that's the doctor pulls out a Chucky doll because I guess he knows that she's coming for therapy. And then there's two mailed to the asylum. So
Hmm.
you've got the one with the short hair there, the main Chucky, and then the one with the
I
arm missing.
okay. So what I didn't like was that they were like, um, what is it? The dolls say, Hi, I'm Chucky," and then you find out later it said that like they that there was there was only a few dolls that said I am Chucky or whatever that they had, and this guy got one of them or whatever. They made a few Chuckies, and I'm like, no, they didn't. No, that's bull for the movie because like um that's just too on the nose. If Charles Lee Ray, who was nicknamed Chucky, said, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" Right? And it turned out that one of the a bunch of the dolls did that too already. Like
Well,
that's too coincidental, and I didn't buy that whatsoever.
okay, so let's say there's 1,000 dolls, and one of them says, hi, I'm John, and then one of them said, hi, I'm Moody, and the other one says, hi, I'm Steve, and one of them does say, hi, I'm Chucky. That they were so popular that maybe the doll that Charles Lee Ray went into said, hi, I'm Moody, but because he's possessed the doll, he could change it to, hi, I'm Chucky.
No, right. But like what I'm saying is,
So he's not the only doll that would say Chucky. He's possessed one and makes it say
but I'm
Chucky.
saying like that's
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
it
you would
just seemed
think
too
Chucky is the
obvious
only
that
one to say
right.
Chucky.
Yeah, and I liked it that way. I liked the idea that there was no actual Chucky doll, you know, that when you and I know they have actual dolls. They've made those dolls or whatever. I don't think any of them actually say Chucky though on them. Um, Hi, my name is Chucky, because that was actual, because originally that was what Charles Lee Ray said. It was like I forgot what the was it originally Chucky or was there another name that they used? And then later he called it Chucky. No, I guess it was always Chucky. Hi, I'm Chucky because it was
I think from time to time he has said a different name just to kind
yeah,
of throw people off. Like he would say Steven or something like that.
no.
But no, I get what you're saying. And if he's possessing a doll, like the two there, then I guess that they all would say Chucky. So if somebody saw all three of them and they went, "Hey, Chucky," all three of them should say hi because they're all Chucky because he possessed them.
Yeah, one of my friends was telling me because we're reviewing a movie, and she was telling me that she was terrified of the Teddy Ruxpin like doll or whatever, because that was really what I think that was what Chucky was sort of based on in a way. Remember Teddy Ruxpin was like one of
Mhm.
the first ones that would actually talk to you,
Oh
on its
yeah, it would
own
move its head and
and
its
move its head
arms
and
and blink, I think, and yeah.
yeah, and sometimes it would like because what people freaked out about was sometimes it would talk like, when it wasn't supposed to, you know, like at night when you're
Like it's
sleeping.
possessed.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It probably was like it was triggered by like a fly or something, and so to go, "Hi, I'm Teddy Ruxpin," and you just be like, "Oh my God, I thought you were, you know, I thought you were off." but you're not. You know what I mean? Like it's scary. It's a scary thing because when you have, I said, was it Annabelle was supposed to be was the real Annabelle, whatever you want to call it, is Raggedy Ann. And I always those never talk to you, but those are always really creepy dolls.
Yeah, it's just a rag doll. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really creepy looking thing. I think Raggedy Ann looked creepier than Andy, you know. Um, Maybe that's where he got Andy from. Raggedy Andy? Maybe that's where he named the name. I don't know where Don Mancini comes up with this shit. Actually, he and Tom Holland wrote the first one, you know. And it's funny. I wonder how much of the first one was Tom Holland's too. Like, I wonder what Tom Holland did in that script differently that.
Well, you find out in the documentary that there's
Okay.
a few different writers on the first one.
Okay.
Because none of the, except for Tom Holland, maybe for like Fright Night or whatever it was that came before Chucky, that none of these people were known. There were Don Mancini was just a guy, just a writer, and then it wasn't until things were a hit. But it's yeah, I mean that's I don't even think Chucky looking normal is a good looking doll, but I guess I mean it's definitely better looking than the one that they got for the remake.
Oh God. No, I can't. I'm really not looking forward to doing that. I think that's why I left it off the list originally. And then you're like, we should put that on there. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck. Oh
Hey,
man, I gotta watch this. I know.
if we're doing it, then we got to do them all. So
Oh, I know you're a completionist. I can I could skip things. But I did watch The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors episode where they had Krusty the doll, and everything, which kind of sounds like Chucky, Krusty Chucky, and he's attacking him, and then the guys come in from the Krusty network or whatever come in, and they're like, "Oh, you just got to switch them from good to evil or evil to good, switch it back and stuff," and then he's just a doll that now is a slave to pour over.
well, and that's kind of the I don't know. I'll go
Yeah,
on more,
that's in
but I
the
don't.
remake. That's in the remake.
Which is the stupidest thing I've
Well,
ever
I
heard.
think that's literally they got that from fucking Simpsons, and I'm like, you're gonna copy the fucking Simpsons? That's
Well, yeah, because there's certain things like there was the episode where Mel Gibson takes the American flag and puts it through somebody's like chest, and then right after that he did the movie The Patriot, where he takes the American flag and puts it through the evil British guy. And it's like, wait a minute, which one came first? You know?
yeah,
So
but,
it's I mean, who knows? Maybe as I'm sure the Simpsons probably took the idea Chucky, and then, oh, look, you could just switch it on and off. But then probably, definitely the remake
yeah,
stole
that
it,
was
I
years
think.
later. Year
Yeah.
either they did that on purpose as a nod, or whatever, homage or whatever you want to call it, or it was literally they accidentally did it. Like they didn't know that was. There's no way that somebody didn't go. Was that from a Simpsons episode? To them, and then we go, "Oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done that." I mean,
It's done a little differently. The guy at the beginning who gets fired changes it. Like
yeah,
he actually programs it to be evil. And I'm thinking like, why the hell would that even be a possibility?
yeah,
Because then that means all of them
could
can be changed
potentially.
to being evil.
Now that would be if they did Cult of Child's Play, or whatever. Yeah,
I think the remake has a few good things, which we could get into it, but overall I hate that movie.
yeah.
I hate it. And it's you know, I like Mark Hamill doing the voice, even though
Oh,
he's
he's
crazy
so
now.
great. I don't care about him like personally, like whatever. I don't even pay attention to him personally. I always love him in his voices. I loved him as the
He does
Joker, you know.
well. He on the animated stuff he does the Joker, and then in TV the live action stuff. He's the trickster.
The trickster,
So
yeah.
he was on the original Flash, and now he's in the Arrowverse, and he's come back twice as the trickster. And he's very good at doing all that stuff and doing the voice of Chucky. Yeah, it's just outside of that. It's just like, oh God, dude, come on. But I like that. Aubrey Plaza is gorgeous in this movie.
Hmm?
And then I like the torture scene, like kind of the Dr. Frankenstein scene with the slimy guy that takes care of the apartment is kind of operating on Chucky, like he's down in the
Uh,
basement. I like that. So there's a few things in the movie that I like, which we can get more into when we get
yeah,
to
we
that.
will when we get to that.
Yeah,
To go back to Cult of Chucky, I mean, I did like the idea that he was in multiple dolls because that was different, you know?
yeah.
Like they tried to make it so it wasn't the same movie over and over again. Because literally it could have just been that the doll got mailed, you know, and stuff, and then um, like that the doll got mailed to you know what I also didn't like? I didn't like the beginning of the movie where Andy was on that date with the girl. If they had cut that
Huh.
out, I would have been okay. Just
I
because
think
it
it adds a little bit of character development. It shows that people look their date up, and then she finds out that he's kind of crazy, and then I also think that it's probably that Don Mancini might be anti-gun, like anti-Second Amendment, um, but because she gets all weirded out when she finds out that he
right.
owns a gun, and he goes, "Well, I own a few guns," and she's like, "Oh, multiple guns,"
Yeah, she's
and so
I felt like that was a little politically too much in the beginning of the movie. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like so, I mean I don't care politically what you're, if you have an opinion on something, great. But like, almost feels preachy to me a little bit, at least
Well, I think it's on top of. So she's already looked him up. She knows all this stuff from like the
his
first two
childhood.
Child's
Yeah,
Play movies, probably even the third, type of thing, since it's supposed to be the same character. And then she on top of that, it's oh yeah, I own a gun. Then it goes to a couple guns to like a few guns, and then she's like, oh shit, let me get out of here. And what's funny about that is we think he may only own like two guns, three guns maybe, but then when he gets back to his house, he has the entire like china cabinet filled with guns.
yeah.
So he doesn't own just one gun, two
And apparently he
guns.
also hunts because you see all those dead animals on his wall and stuff like that, mounted. So I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be him who did it, because I don't think they would have had those had it not be meaning like, okay, this guy's been practicing, he's been killing things, like, hunting, whatever. So, he was ready for Chucky. Um, and I kind of wish that there was more of that. Like, I kind of wish they did more with this character. Oh my goodness, I don't know where that
Oh
happened.
my God, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It just fell off. Um, like, I wish there was just more with his character. I felt like his character was, they
Well, like I
brought him
said,
in.
it's all leading up to
Okay.
it's introductions. We got that little bit at the end of Curse. Now we get a little bit more with him. Then we see what's her face, the chick from Child's Play 2.
Mm,
Now she, in the post credit scene, and so now she's back. So a lot of this stuff is working into at
the
least
TV
season
show. Yeah.
one, yeah, of the
All
TV
right, all
show.
right, all right, all right. I'll let that go then. But the other stuff, I did like the characters inside the I really wish that guy hadn't killed the nurse lady, the orderly, whatever, the nurse chick who
She was hot.
I know, and I
She
thought
was
she was so
great.
sweet too. Like I liked her a lot. And then of course multiple Malcolm, I guess was his name, killed her, or whatever.
Well, because he thinks he's Charles Lee Ray. He thinks he's Chucky.
But he was for like a second, or something, which
No, I
makes
think he's I think he's all faking it. Well, not faking it, but he thinks he is. It's not the real. guy in there, which is why, the other Chucky, the one-armed Chucky, killed him. Because it's just like you're another victim, you're fake. You're not Chucky, you're not Charles Lee Ray. He's just added another personality to him.
Yeah, maybe. Because
So
I
it's
thought at first he was because he fell into that grave and then came out and gave that look.
that's weird that the one patient who obviously smothered her kid with a pillow because it was crying too much, because she went to do that with the Chucky doll. Um, and they came in, they're like, "What are you doing?" And so we finally learn from her or from them why she's in there is because she
Mm.
killed her kid. But I don't. It's weird that, yeah, that she pushes the guy into the grave. You think it's maybe for Chucky to kill him, but then he pops up with the doll and gives it back to her, and it's like, well, then why did she push him in?
I thought it was so that Chucky could do the Abdullah blah 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 and
Oh, on him.
possess him. Yeah, and that's why it confused me, where Chucky was like, "You're not Charles Lee Ray. You never were," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Wait, so did you just pretend to do that and just make him think that he was Charles Lee Ray, or was there it's very confusing."
I am, yeah, because we were only seeing it from um oh God damn it, I hate getting old. God damn it, from Nika. God,
Nika.
I
Oh
can I
God,
can
I would have helped you out if you said the girl.
No, I didn't want your help because I keep wanting to say Nina. Nika is we only seeing it from her point of view, so we're not hearing dialogue. So who knows? Maybe she's like, "You need to go down and get my baby." He's like, "I'm not going into the grave. This is creepy." And then she's pushes him into the grave, and since he's in the grave, he can hand her now the doll and get. Who
But then why
knows?
did he throw the doll in there to begin with? That was weird. That looked very specific. Like she did that because he leaned in, the Chucky leaned in and talked to her, and then she threw him in the grave. So I assumed that Chucky asked her to do that, and I assumed it was because he was going to possess somebody in that grave, you know.
What
So
you're saying sounds correct, but
and
I guess not.
but see, that's the thing. Like, why did they do that to fake us out? And if they
Maybe.
did that to fake us out, then that was the dumbest scene ever. Like, because then that makes absolutely no sense.
Because
Like,
if he did possess him, let's say, then I don't think that, well, no, because he's still walking around. So then like, what would Chucky be like if he did possess the guy with multiple personalities? So I guess 1 second he would be Charles Lee Ray, and then another minute he'd be Susan, and then the next minute he'd be Ted.
well, actually, what's cool
The-
was almost every name that he had, besides like one of them, was well, no, Charles was like the only one. All the rest were M names. Did you notice that? Like the first name he had was Michael. The second name he had was like uh there was Michael, and then there was Matt or something like that, right? And then there was um then you find out his name was Malcolm. So there's all three M's. Then he had Charles, you know, which was off the M path, which at that point I go, oh, okay, so he's Chucky, because at first I thought Charles Manson, because he said Matt, was it Matt or Mark? Mark, because he said Mark because of Mark Zuckerberg. She goes, oh, so you're Mark Zuckerberg now? Remember? And so
yeah.
he had that. So he had the name Mark, he had the name Michael, which I don't, Michael Phelps. He was supposed to be Michael Phelps or whatever. And then there was Malcolm, and I guess that was his real name, was Malcolm.
Well,
It
because
was
Malcolm's in the middle, so.
He's in the middle of all of them. That's bad. I don't know if that was planned or not, but there you go. There you go, Don Mancini. Malcolm was in the middle. But yeah, then So yeah, so they had those names. So each one was named after somebody specific that he was. So when he said Charles, my first thought wasn't actually Charles Lee Ray, weirdly enough. My first thought was Charlie Manson. I was like, is he Charles Manson? That's weird. And then I go, Charles Lee Ray. Okay, never mind. Which makes sense for the show or the movie, but I don't know. I kind of like the guy, but he's listed. If you look at his credits, he's only listed as Michael, because I guess that was the first name that she knew him as, and she fucked
And
him.
has sex with him
Yeah, I
too.
was gonna say she fucked him in the where anybody could have walked down and found them. I was like, get a room, you two. Like you have a room.
There's
Use
plenty
it.
of them there.
Yeah.
Well, it might
Okay.
be a place without a camera. I mean, maybe they don't have cameras in the stairwells. I
Well,
don't
they didn't
know.
have cameras in the rooms. That was the one thing that they originally said.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, so they could
Yeah,
have
it's
had
not
sex in
supposed to. Yeah,
one of the rooms. Yeah,
yeah. But then,
but I guess just a stairwell is just kind of more gross.
yeah, or I don't know, just heat of the
Just more.
moment, I guess. Um, but the other thing I didn't, there's something I didn't like of it. Oh yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like how the doctor said that there were hidden cameras everywhere, but then tried to say that like I could tell, when he hypnotized her, that I could. Tell you, what if I said that we saw you go and murder these people and we have all this evidence? What would you say to that? If she's telling the truth, like, right? She's hypnotized, she's telling the truth. She wouldn't have said, "Oh, I guess I was caught." She would have go, "I didn't do that." So I don't know what evidence you would have on that stuff, you know?
Well, there isn't. That's him manipulating her. But yeah,
Right.
you're correct. If it's almost kind of like a hypnotizing or truth
Truth
serum or
serum kind of
something
thing,
like
yeah.
that, then yeah, she would say no, but I didn't.
Yeah, I never did. I
Um,
never killed anybody.
but
And so I
I
didn't like
guess
that. I didn't,
unless she's not fully under it, or something, and because she does believe him when he says, you hit me in the head, but we're gonna let that go when he should
well,
clearly know that she didn't because he was standing right in front of her and he got hit from the back. Plus, how could she stand up to hit anybody?
yeah. Well, later you see her stand up and everything, and the look on that doctor's face of like, oh shit, what's going on here? That was insane. I guess if you're possessed somebody, you can just make them walk again, which I thought was a weird
Yeah, at
thing.
least she stumbled a little bit, or Chucky stumbled a little bit
You
because you would think her legs, are they being massaged or worked on her at all? Because if you remember in like the Dead Zone, with Christopher Walken, they spend, a good portion of that movie with just him trying to walk because he'd been, for years in a coma. So if she's stuck in that wheelchair since she
hmm
was a kid, since she was born basically she probably wouldn't be able to walk
Okay.
unless she was being this they were like massaging her and stretching the muscles and doing all that. But it's a Chucky movie, so I'm not gonna
Well, so
whatever. She's
the
possessed.
the thing that when she's talking to him and the doctor says, um, like you hit me in the head or whatever, right? I don't think he actually like he probably believed that she had to have done that somehow because he still didn't believe that Chucky was real. you know? So he believed that, and she was still under the hypnosis. So she saw Chucky right after that. But she can't say it was Chucky because apparently he's not believing that Chucky is a real thing.
Or he does because he said he's writing the book. So every murder in there he's okay with because it's better for the book. And maybe he does think that Chucky is there, but he's telling her that he's not because he's putting it into the book.
Mm. I don't
So
know.
yeah, yeah, some of that now that we talk about it doesn't make like he wouldn't say, "Oh, I woke up with such a headache because you hit me with something over the head." And it's like, No, you were staring right at her, or you were like around her. How could she hit you with something
Unless
when
she
she's
can
behind you?
remember, he just knows that he was talking to her for a little bit and then got hit in the head, and then like he thought that maybe she had gotten up and hit him in the head, and he didn't, or something. I don't know, like memory,
I mean, the guy
issue.
at the beginning takes a pin and sticks it in her foot and it bleeds, and he's like, "See, she's a pin cushion." So we know that she's not faking it.
Yeah,
Or they should know that she's not faking it. So that's how you always in as I'm sure one of your crime scene movie or TV shows has done it, where it's the person who's in the wheelchair or they're blind and they
right.
throw the book on the ground and the person immediately looks or gets up, and that's how they prove in court that they're not handicapped.
Oh
So they
God,
could have,
there's
yeah, they might have been able to, maybe with her, to kind of, I guess the needle would be that if she was faking it, she'd be like, "How my foot
that
hurts."
that's like that scene in the movie where he's proving that the doll is just a doll, and he burns the hand of Chucky. But it, I don't know if that uh was that a continuity issue? I never noticed that his hand, if the hand was burnt still at the
Well, I'm trying to figure out exactly. So there's the Chucky that the doctor brings out of nowhere. Then there's Jennifer Tilly or Tiffany who brings the Chucky
two,
out of a
yeah,
bag or
saying that,
something. So
yeah, it
that's
says it's
two.
Alice's Chucky.
Then there's the one with the short hair that
That guy
Andy
that the
sends.
Andy said. So there's three.
So the main Chucky would be the one that the doctor shows, and then the one that Tiffany brings is the one who's missing an arm, and then the one that Andy sent is the one with the short hair. Am I right?
I think the main Chucky is the one that Tiffany brought.
Because Charles would be in that Chucky doll.
That would be my thought.
So the one that the doctor brings out is not possessed yet.
Right.
And that's the one that Chucky does. No, because Chucky does that on the little guy with the hair. So they should have shown, if it's the one missing an arm before its arm was torn off, we should have seen the burnt hand. So we know exactly who he is.
I don't remember though. Dude, hold
Because
on.
there because there's only one then that's possessed. That's the one that Tiffany brings. And then at some point he possesses the one who's missing the arm, which would have been from the doctor. Then then the Chucky with the short hair is mailed to the asylum. The doctor takes, I always love how there's these boxes that are perfectly sized for Chucky. And you know instantly when you see that box. The box is almost like a character in all these
Right.
movies. And then he says, then because even the guy, the orderly says, why is his hair like that? So I don't think that's possessed yet, but it's got the gun. And then we see Chucky from Tiffany with the doll that the doctor brings out. Then Chucky brings the short-haired one to life because the one who gets his arm ripped off, I think it's him, who says, "Well, you've only been alive for 2 minutes."
Right.
So but if Chucky then can possess dolls and people, why is it when Chucky goes into Nika, it just falls flat onto the floor? Like, why isn't it still Chucky? Why isn't it still alive if Chucky can go into multiple things?
I just think he just went there because, all the people were coming, right? All the bad, like all the because it wasn't that at the end where there was Charles Lee Ray was leaving with as Nika. He didn't need the dolls anymore, you
But
know?
the doll would still be Chucky.
Right.
If,
But
if, if but
but
he's
ma-
just flat on the floor.
right. He just but he does that all the time. He becomes like a fake doll all the time.
No, see, I don't think he's meant to be a fake doll. I think that could be a continuity error. Chucky goes into Nika. The doll
So,
then is lifeless and it falls to the ground. The one with the short hair gets its brains blown out from Andy, and then the one missing the arm um, kills Michael, the multiple personality guy. And then when I think he hears sirens or something, and that's when he hops up on that bench and then just becomes a normal doll. But the one that's in the office that that will be behind the main doctor, I think is lifeless. And maybe that's because it is the actual Chucky.
okay, so the third Chucky unlocks Andy's cell and attacks him. Andy rips open the doll's chest and pulls out a hidden gun, revealing that he sent him to the institution to smuggle a weapon inside. He kills the doll, but is unable to escape before Nika Chucky locks him inside his cell and leaves him behind. Nika Chucky escapes and reunites with Tiffany. The two together drive off together with the Tiffany doll, also alive and sharing a portion of Tiffany's soul. So portion of her soul, apparently. But it doesn't say what happened to hold on. Let me see if it says anything in the goofs. If that is a goof at all. I always love looking up the goofs. We'll do that and then um yeah, so Dr. Foley burns the Chucky doll on his right hand with a lighter, but when it cuts to a wide shot, Chucky's hand is completely fine. And I think it's fine the rest of the movie.
So it's either a continuity error or Chucky could grow back.
I
His
don't know,
hand grew
but
back okay.
why didn't anybody ever say anything? Because I think it was a continuity error. Um when okay, let's see. During um multiple errors in depiction of an extended acute care behavioral health for a very amount of staff. What? No, I don't care about any of that. That's factual errors. Um
Because the arm that's missing is the one that got burned, right? Because he did it on his right hand.
yeah.
And that's the one that was stuck in the patient's mouth, like choking her. So that would be when you would need to look at it is because it's in full view.
Let's see. Okay. Um let's see. Hold on. So somebody says on a Reddit, it says, people, I just found out something awesome. That Chucky is from the psychiatry with the burned hand. Look very carefully at the fingers. I don't know what that, I can't tell what that is. But, what? Oh my God. I don't know. Anyway, that was weird. Sorry. Uh, Somebody on Facebook asked the question of what the hell is going on with Chucky. Oh, that was
Well,
bloody
it's most
disgusting.
likely a continuity error then.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing saying anything about it. I think they didn't think we'd pay too much attention to much of that stuff. I get upset when when they do stuff like that, where they have like they do that and like I don't think that doll was possessed at that time or whatever, because
No.
she does mention that like um they could have switched places basically, you could have just the real Chucky could have switched with the fake Chucky or whatever,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
the patient who thinks that Chucky is her kid is holding
Yeah.
that Chucky.
Yeah. And
And
so
so
that's the
yeah, so
real
Nika's
Chucky then.
thinking the Chucky who's being burned went over into that Chucky.
Yep.
So now that Chucky's lifeless.
And
And
then
then
that one woman got bit by Chucky at the
yeah,
end.
and the which made her a believer. And
Right?
then the woman who thinks that Chucky is her kid was obviously breastfeeding him. maybe no milk was coming out, but then she had the bite, she had the blood right on her shirt, like where he would have,
Hmm.
been sucking on the teat. And so it is a little confusing because that's where you need the scar, or you need, that's why you can identify them in the picture that you have, because the one guy's missing an arm, the guy's
And
one's
then he's
regular,
missing
one
the
has
arm.
short hair.
But we'll get into why he's missing the arm when you get into all the kill scenes. Do you want to
Yes,
go right into that?
yeah, I have that here. I also have, so we'll do, so like Curse of Chucky, since it never went to the box office, it was just $5 million. It doesn't show an amount. But Cult of Chucky, same thing, budget 5 million. So both films had the same budgets.
Yeah.
Um, Slightly different running times, like off by 5 minutes or whatever. But so I think that they did a really good job, if since they had the same budget of now having the multiple Chuckies and all of that, which I would think would be a little more expensive, but it is just still a one location place. Um, so okay, I guess you can work with that. So the deaths are so let's see. So there's Joshua suffocated to death by a pillow.
Okay.
Did that? Why am I
Wait,
why am I
is that
blanking? Wrist
who-
cut. Who is Joshua?
suffocated by a pillow? Who's suffocated by a pillow? Oh, that was the baby, which is not in the
Oh,
movie. It's not in the
oh, okay.
movie. We don't think we even see a flashback of it or anything.
Let
That's
me see.
weird that they would bring that up because that's not
Oh,
really a
okay.
death,
This
but
this doesn't open as well as I wish that it would. It's what I used last week. It was better. Yeah, it says off-screen mentioned. Madeline is the killer. That's the patient. Okay.
yeah.
Um, then after that, there's Angela, wrist cut by piece of metal.
And that's the old chick who was schizophrenic and and he got that idea from Nika, who was trying to kill herself at one point.
Yeah, and the piece of metal is from the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then Chucky stitches her up. So he's pretty good at doing stitching.
Maybe he's had practice with before he was a doll.
Yeah, yeah, he's probably had to put himself back together at some point. Claire, who's the Asian woman who's really paranoid about a lot of stuff, decapitated by broken glass. So that was pretty cool. Oh, wait, 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 wait. Okay, so suffocated by pillow is Madeline. Okay, wrist cut by piece of metal, decapitation with piece of glass. That is Chucky melted fingers.
Okay.
So that's the Chucky who did those, is the melted finger Chucky. I like that. I thought the that glass looked good and her head looked good too. And I
I
was
guess I
glad
just
that
never noticed he had the melted fingers. I just
they're telling us right here which Chucky it is. So
nice.
then after that, suffocated to death by an arm. And so that's Madeline actually
That's
being
Madeline.
killed.
Yep.
Yeah. And it says Chucky arm, but it doesn't say exactly which one it is. It just says Chucky arm.
It's the one that I mean, I'm guessing it's also the melted fingers one
Hmm.
because the other
Okay.
one doesn't have melted fingers.
Well, I think because it says again, okay, so Nurse Carlos. Okay. I was saying he was black. He's not. He's Hispanic, I guess. It says stabbed in the leg and chest by a letter opener, drilled into the chest, gutted by a broken bottle. Okay, so it says here Chucky Buzzcut, Chucky arm, Chucky melted fingers.
Yeah.
So those are two different. So the Chucky Buzzcut, obviously short hair. Chucky arm has to be the one with the missing arm. Chucky melted fingers has to be the regular Chucky.
Let me see something. Hold on. He does not look like he has melted fingers. Does he? right there, right behind me. That guy right there. If you look straight ahead, does he look like he has melted fingers?
And it was his right hand, I think, right? Because he was sitting there
Yeah,
on his
that
leg
was that
and he was burning. And no, those do not look
melted.
unless they healed because Chucky somehow always comes back. Maybe he
Mm-mm.
can heal. But no, it doesn't at all look like that. So okay, then there's unnamed asylum guard, slit throat with a nail file. That was Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany did that to the guard. Yep.
Then there is Dr. Foley, head stomped. So that's Nika. Oh, now they're calling him Chucky Prime.
Which one is that?
I'm guessing it must be the one with the burned fingers. Is the main Chucky. So he's Chucky Prime because Nurse Ashley drilled through the stomach. No, this is incorrect. It says Chucky arm. No, that was Michael, right? Michael did it thinking that he was Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah,
So that's not correct. And then it says Malcolm drilled through the head.
right.
That's
That
also Chucky arm.
that's the guy who thinks he's that he thinks he's um yeah, Malcolm is the one who thinks he's Charles.
Yeah.
And he's
And
drilled through the head, yeah.
and that is done by yeah, that's also Chucky arm. Then Chucky buzz cut. So shot in the stomach and head stomped. That's by Andy. Then Chucky head. So we're back to Andy's place, and it says shot in the head, decapitated, unknown, and then it's Andy and Kyle. Kylie? Kylie. Is that how you say her name? Kylie?
Oh.
Kyle?
Okay, are you saying Nurse Ashley, right?
Yeah.
So it says drilled in the abdomen by Chucky with an electric drill off screen. Body shown. This is from another. I'm guessing this is a different, you know, grouping of death ones or whatever.
But didn't Malcolm, I called him Michael, maybe that's one of his names, but Malcolm did that, right? It wasn't, we didn't see it, it's off screen, but didn't
He
he
said he
take,
did. He said he did.
but
Like
is he
he
just taking credit for
credit.
it then?
I don't know. I don't. Mm. This says that drilled in abdomen by Chucky with an electric drill off screen. So I
I mean, that would kind of make sense since the one-armed Chucky was walking around with the drill,
yeah,
but Malcolm took credit for it.
which might have pissed off Chucky, you know? He did seem pretty pissed off at Malcolm, like you're not really Charles Lee Ray, you're just acting like you are, you know?
You're taking for credit for something you didn't do. Kind of like what Jigsaw does,
Right.
to the guy who says that Jigsaw tortured him and he survived. Yeah. So maybe it was, and then the one-armed Chucky or Chucky arm pulled the drill out of her chest or out of her stomach, and then that's when Malcolm got the drill in the eye
Yeah.
or through the back of the head, through the eye. So yeah, I get okay.
And then short here, Chucky skull crushed after having his head stomped on by Andy.
Yeah, that comes next, and then the ending, the after credit scene shows up with
It just, yeah, it says Chucky's head tortured by Kyle off screen. Which, I
yeah.
mean, you don't see anything yet. It's off screen, but you hear him yelling or whatever. you know?
Yeah, I mean, we she's got pliers or something like that, so she knows. Because this has, yeah, because I would think, I mean, Chucky Prime, I guess, because we're there, it's out of the three in the asylum, but I'm guessing this is supposed to be the Chucky head because it's got the stitches. Is the Chucky is
Maybe?
because that's the one from Curse. Because in the courtroom, it's just sitting on the in the evidence table, and then that's
I
what
don't know. It's
Tiffany.
it's kind of confusing because at the end of Curse, he's possessing the daughter. So like when did Curse become cult of Chucky? Like when did because if he possessed uh Alice and then ended up deciding I don't want to be Alice anymore because she's too useless and stuff, he becomes Chucky again, right? Did he go down? Did he right after that mail himself to Alec or to Alex is the guy's real name, Andy, or did Andy uh like or after like was this another Chucky doll that he possessed and stuff or
I
whatever?
would think that there's only one Chucky doll with the stitches.
Right. But like was this the real Chucky that possessed that or was this like his other like I'm possessing you
Well,
now and now I'm possessing
at the end of Curse, the stitched head is in the courtroom. And then is that at the end, once again, another cop steals evidence and it's
yeah.
the Chucky like pieces or whatever in the head or in the
But then
car.
he goes to Alice's house, remember his grandmother's house? And kills the grandmother and then says, I'm gonna possess you now and does the like hide the soul game. And then you see the grandma wake up. But then like you see the scene, the post credit scene is him being mailed to Andy. And then it's the one with him with the stitched face and everything. And he's like, no, no, wait, and gets shot in the head to become that head, and now Andy has the head. How he must have been a different version, right? He must have been able to do this before, right?
But Andy had the head that he was torturing because he had it at the beginning. He takes it out of the safe.
Right.
And then it's mailed to him, right? And it's the same thing with the stitches. So there's a head and then there's another full Chucky with the stitches. So that doesn't make any sense. There should only be one Chucky with stitches. The one I think that was sent to. So either Andy should have one with no stitches and he gets sent the one with the stitches because that's the one from Curse.
When did he get another one sent to him? In the beginning of the movie?
He takes it out of a safe.
So he's only had one doll. There's only been one. But then he does have that other one that he sends because he puts the gun in it, apparently, or whatever, you know? Very confusing.
It is because we see him open the safe. Yeah.
I can see
No,
Thomas.
no, 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 no. Am I getting two movies confused?
I think you are.
Because then he so maybe that's the beginning of Colt is he takes the head out of the safe
Right, and starts talking to it,
and he
or
uses
whatever.
the torch.
Yeah.
He goes on the date,
No,
comes
he
back
goes
and
he goes
then
on the date first. The date was first. The date was first. That's the opening scene. That's what drove me crazy. It's like
and
really.
then okay,
And then he
and
goes
then
home to this like shack in the woods, comes home to there, gets Chucky out of the safe, puts Chucky down, takes the gag out of Chucky's mouth
right.
and
So
stuff,
then
and then he starts talking to him
so
and watching the
curse
news.
would be he's on the phone with his mom
Right.
and his back is to the package
Mm-hmm.
and the package cuts itself open and it's Chucky
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Chucky that's at the end of Curse.
Is the Chucky that
So
he has because he has the head, because
so
he shot the
Tiffany,
head off of it.
yeah, because Tiffany sends him that Chucky. He pops up. Andy shoots the head. Like you said, that's the head that's in the safe, and he's been torturing it this whole time because it's all full of nails and half of its face is all messed up. So yeah, there is only one Chucky with the
Scars and stuff.
stitches. Yeah.
Now, and then, but then all because all the other ones are clean looking Chuckies, right? These guys are like, there's no scars, no nothing, even though there should be. Um,
Well, unless they're just completely, unless somehow the head of Chucky possessed them, or before he became the head,
that's the
he
only thing I'm
possessed other
thinking.
dolls.
This is what gets very confusing because there's no real timeline for this. So the so I'm gonna bring it all back to Curse of Chucky at the end. The courtroom scene. He goes out. The guy wants you know wants um whatever the guy is kidnapping, or taking Chucky or whatever to sell to some person. It turns out that Tiffany was the one, I guess, that did all this, kills the guy with the nail file thing, takes Chucky back, right? Mails it out to Alice's grandmother, right? You know, Alice's grandmother gets killed, supposedly, right? In the basement or whatever. Then, was it, Alice comes home, finds Chucky, plays hide the soul. The woman wakes up, we get the credits, then we get a credit scene of here's another package being mailed. So what I think happened in between that is the real Chucky possesses Alice, right? Does the possession, also possesses that doll again because he finds out how to do that, sends the doll over there, but that's not the official Chucky, you know? Then the one that gets sent with Tiffany is the real Chucky. The one that Tiffany brings into the place, that's the real Chucky, because she's the only one who has the real one or whatever would be my guess, right? And that's why she brought him there so he could continue doing the thing, but the one that is all messed up and is at Andy's is just one of the possessions. So it's a possessed version of that one and meant to sort of throw everybody off to thinking that's the real Chucky. But it's not the main Chucky. It's not Chucky Prime.
But what was in the courtroom? Then it wasn't a head. Was it a doll?
No, it was a doll. It was a full doll.
A
Because she
full
looks
doll?
over at him, but he's like the scarred doll, So he's the real doll that was found on the scene of the crime. And then, she yells at it. She's like, ha ha ha, you can't hurt me now, blah, 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 blah. And of course, he can't let things go. He's got to finish what he started. So
Well, he's OCD. Yeah.
yeah, so he's planning to come back and get her when he can. And he has to wait till she's in a minimum security prison so that they can allow, you know, packages and visitors and things like that, which they wouldn't have been able to do in a maximum security prison. She wouldn't have been able to get all this stuff. So that's why they made the Cult of Chucky had that plan. But like, yeah, so there was so much with that. Like it just seems a little. It seemed like there was a way too much, to happen, and it's very confusing because like we're all led to believe that the main Chucky is the one that Andy, uh, shot his head off, or whatever, but it's not. It is. So, you know what I mean? Like it's just a little confusing to me. But
Um,
I mean,
I don't know. I'm looking because I don't know, because there is the, I'm looking on YouTube, there's the Chucky timeline. which is like 10 minutes. So it shows 1866 and then goes up to 2021. So that's I'm not getting that date. The evolution of Chucky, and it does show it's a cartoon thumbnail, but it does show the Chucky with the short hair
Oh, I don't
on
know.
it. It's the evolution of Chucky 1988 to 2019. So there's also the history of Andy Barclay, which is by the same YouTube channel. Maybe I'll watch a couple of these and see if it answers anything. The Child's Play movies accurately explained. It says all
Maybe
movies
the
explained.
documentary explains it. I don't know if you remember if the documentary kind of goes into any of that detail, you
I
know?
don't think so, no. I don't
Should.
remember. I don't think it does, but I'll take a look at a couple of these and for next week, and then maybe we could figure something out.
I might take a
But
look at some of those too, like the Chucky timeline and things like that, and maybe dig some more research into it. And that could be something we talk about when we talk about the documentary, you know, and stuff. Kind of, you know, to to go expand upon the documentary. Um,
yeah.
but all right, I guess that about wraps it up.
Yeah. I
Hopefully,
think that we've confused ourselves enough with well, and that's the thing with the TV series. I think I mentioned this to you before, is you think Chucky's dead, but there's always one more.
right.
So it's an and the one scene where there was like 1,000 Chuckies, it's like they can have this show go on forever
But that,
because you literally think this is the last good guy doll, and
but
it gets killed, and then somebody pulls something out of a closet, and it's like an old Chucky doll.
but like after a while, like you know, I don't know. Like that's sort of a thing where I mean, what's gonna happen, unfortunately, when Don Mancini's no longer around? Is it gonna stop? Is that gonna be it?
Probably,
Is that gonna be
probably.
the end of Chucky? Is because and you know, is some one day Brad Dourif's not gonna be able to do the voice anymore, you know, and stuff like
They'll
that.
just get
So,
Mark Hamill to do
they might not even have Mark Hamill at
it.
that time, you know, and so I'm like, you know, they'll yeah, I don't want AI Chucky, you know, or
Well,
whatever.
no, they would probably if it was completely shut down for whatever reason, they would probably maybe wait a couple years and then do just a complete reboot. And then they would get some actor to do the voice, they Vin Diesel or somebody or somebody known. I mean, if you're going to get Chris Evans now to do, replace Tim Allen for Lightyear in the
Wait,
Toy
what?
Story.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Oh, Chris
the
Evans.
Chris Evans
Oh, I thought
does for Buzz
I
Lightyear.
swear to God I heard you say Vin Diesel.
No.
And
I was joking with Vin Diesel, but then I said, or you could do something like, what they did with
yeah, no, I remember Chris
with
Evans, but that was a younger like or a different version of Buzz
Well,
Lightyear or
it's
something.
what the Toy Stories are based off of is
Right,
is that Buzz Lightyear. Like Buzz Lightyear is a real person, and nobody wanted that, so it bombed.
right.
But among other things, but it's. I mean, they could do something like that and just get some big actor, And now look, it's so and so. It's Johnny Depp doing the voice of Chucky, and it's just, and that's like the big selling point is we're going to do a complete reboot and ignore the previous reboot and ignore the series and all the movies, and we'll just start from scratch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look how many actors have died who have played Jason or whatever it is, or you know, uh, you're they try it with other people, even with Freddy, and it just fails. But that's because I think these some of these people are still alive. So as lo I think we accepted for the remake, it's Mark Hamill because that's what he's known for. And at that time, everybody liked Mark Hamill.
Well, I'm just glad that we've gotten through all of the main movies and stuff. So now I can say I've seen all of them. I had seen Colt before because I owned Colt, thought I owned Curse as well, but I only owned Cult of Chucky. So eventually I will buy all of them. I do like the Chucky movies. I like the Chucky. I mean, I think he's cute. He's a cute little guy. And I would love to own an actual doll, but I'm not spending $300 anytime soon
Well,
for
that's only if you want to buy the original one that came out. You could still get it from Spirit Halloween.
like
It's on their
70 or something, but
It's, I think in the store it's less because Joe Lujan said that he bought his for like 80. And then, but online I looked and it's still available. It's like 89.99.
yeah, I don't really want to do that either,
But it says Chucky.
right?
Like it doesn't, it's so you can tell that this is new. It doesn't just say good guys on
Oh
it.
God, no, I don't want
It's
that.
not the original ones that are now like 300, $500 are more authentic to what the movie is, so it looks like you're actually buying a real Chucky doll in the box. This now is clearly, oh, here's the doll from the movie because it says Chucky. It doesn't, so you wouldn't put on your box Chucky with all the pointed number or letters and with the blood and all that unless you're aiming it more towards the film. So that's why I wouldn't have a problem buying one now because it's cheaper than buying one that's like $300 or, $500.
Yeah, well, 250, well, 270, almost $300, for one. That looks kind of cute. I don't know if you can see that or not.
There's also a Tiffany one too.
Can you see that?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's the problem is the
But you
glare.
want it with the box, having it by itself should be much cheaper, but you want the
I
box
don't want
too.
the box.
Why? That's the idea is that it's you're owning a good guy because he's in the box. But I mean, you could take him out of the box, but you want the box too.
No, I can't. Dang it.
At
Hold
least I
on.
would.
There's this, and he's in the box. What's in the
So
box?
what's in the box? So what does it say on the
But it
front?
says "Good Guys Chucky." I don't like that.
How much is it?
240.
Yeah, so
Oh my God, it's a Spear Halloween one. Why are you selling that for 240? Ah, 240 plus $50, $60 shipping. That's $300. Oh, that's a Spirit Halloween one. I don't want that. I want the original. So you're right. It says those ones say Chucky on it. I might as well buy them at Spirit Halloween for like $80.
well, that's what I'm thinking. Bless you.
No,
As much as I love Chucky, I'm not paying $500 for that one.
I
I'll
mean, if I
I just
had the
wanted
money to
Chucky
do
in the
it,
box.
if I had the money to do it, like say I was richer, where I can just blow 50, 500 bucks on something, I would do it as, this would be pretty cool, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah. If I had the money,
But,
I like buying the original
but,
stuff. But
my sister would normally get me, My Pet Monster stuff now, and everything. That was my good guy doll, and everything. He just never came to life, really, except in a
except in your
cartoon and
dreams,
cartoon. There was a live action little My Pet Monster that Paul and I watched for Short Film Saturday, and then also in my dreams, he came alive and cuddled me, you know, because that's what he does.
that's strange.
Mm, It was fun.
Okay.
Um, I love My Pet Monster, man. My
That's
favorite toy I mean, the only toy I have ever like owned since I was a kid. I'm still upset that I don't have my Dumbo doll. I had a Dumbo doll, like a, nice little one. A tinier one, like a plush kind of thing. But unfortunately, I don't have that anymore. But I have pictures of me with it. And I'm like, damn it, I want that still. But I'll take the My Pet Monster who will never that's gonna go to the grave with me. People are like, "Are you gonna give that to somebody when you die?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna bring that to my grave." You know,
and then it
I'm
will break out of the grave and start killing people. And
Me and my pet monster, my undead pet monster, will come out and kill people. That'll be awesome.
there you
Uh,
go.
but yeah, that's I mean That's the only reason why I want to be buried instead of like cremated. Like everybody I know wants to be cremated, and I'm like, I want to be buried so I can come back to life as a zombie and kill people. Just in case.
There
You
you
know.
go.
All right,
You
everybody.
never
Hope
know.
hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks. That'll be the last episode of November. And then, because this will be the first episode, yeah, the first one in November. Then we'll have the second one in November, and then we are done for November. Then we're going to be in December, and we'll finish it, wrap it all up. That's a lot of Embers. Um, but we're almost done with this series, which is great. 'Cause I've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
You
like
know,
revisiting them.
yeah. I mean, I like visiting them I mean, I've seen the first three, four, and I hadn't seen Seed of Chucky. Then I seen the six. So Seed of Chucky was the only one I hadn't seen. But like Chucky 3 was like one of my least favorites because I just didn't like the Military Academy one originally, like when I was a kid. I like it better now, you know? And so far, oh, we forgot to rate this one. So what would you give this?
1 out of 5, I'd give it 3.
Give it a three? I give it 3.5. I liked it a lot.
I could go 3.5. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
3.5.
It
Yeah, I
wasn't it
could do that
wasn't
too.
bad. It wasn't bad. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I mean there's problems with it, but we seem to be picking up problems on a lot of these movies. Like remember Curse of Chucky had that issue with uh the family reunion stuff and everything. The all the stuff with that whole, the whole stuff with the everything. I'm tired. Okay, we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Alrighty.
everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll be back in two
Bye.
weeks. Bye bye.